Grateful donor gifts $50,000 for church roof, inspiring generosity after success.
$50,000. And I know people that, and I experienced this very week, something I've never really experienced the whole time I've been in the ministry. I went to go eat with somebody that we've been friends for about 35 years, and he said, can we go eat together? Went to eat together, and he was asking about some of the church, this, that, and the other, and he said, man, I said, yeah, the children's building's leaking, and we're going to have to replace it. And he said, well, how much is it going to be? Y'all ready for this? $50,000. That's just to cover it. He said, $50,000? I said, yeah, $50,000. And you don't know him because he didn't come. And he said, wow. He said, I believe I might not teach and I might not preach. But in the last 10 years, I knew he had nothing. But in the last 10 years, God has blessed him. And I believe anybody that God has blessed financially, you got to be careful or you'll forget where it came from. And he said, since I don't want to forget where it came from, I want to continue to be thankful and generous. That's all he said. I said, well, I agree, man. I enjoyed the lunch. I'll pay for it. And he let me pay for it. But we're walking out, and I fixed to get in the car, and he said, hey, wait. One more thing I want you to know. I said, what? He said, I'm going to send a check for the building. For the roof. $50,000. Yeah, I've never had that happen. And now I knew I was going to preach on this series, amen? And then last Sunday, same thing. Never, in all these years, I've never had this happen. I'm sitting there and fixing to preach, and a guy comes up and whispers in my ear. He says, I want to give you something to smile about before you preach. I said, amen. He said, I know we still have debt on the building. I know that one of your desires is to pay it off before you retire. I said, yeah, amen. I said, I'm a few months, a year, I'm going to mention what it is. And he said, hey, guess what? Before the end of the year, we're going to give y'all a check for $25,000 to help pay it off. I said, what in the world? Both of these guys, I've known them for years. They started out with nothing, and now they're doing better. But they both said, I want to be grateful, I want to be generous, and I never want to forget where it came from. They both said something else. But it said, if you're not careful, the people that get more money, they forget where it came from. I'm setting it up where they can't get to the state unless they agree to give 10% of it away every single month. Because if not, they didn't go through the same things I did, and they're not going to know what it's like to be generous and grateful. Isn't that something? And I said, man, God, I'm not only going to get to preach it, I'm going to get to experience it. Man, I've never experienced all that in 30, 40 years. It was just fantastic.